Hello and welcome to my tutorial on how I draw the ladies. Yeah, this is just going to be like a little casual drawing tutorial because I am no tuto girl. And I'll get straight into it. Ready? Step 1, know how to draw, losers. Joking, I'm just going to do my best on describing how I draw. And then I've got like an example going on in the background. So yeah, before I actually get into it, if you are not subscribed, you should subscribe and you should also like the video. Right, so I'm just going to quickly talk about my drawing first. Basically, I have like this thing where I go through phases of looking back at my old like Tumblr board or old photos that I've saved from my Tumblr era. And at the moment, people are like dressing like it's 2014. It's giving me so much life. So this is what these drawings are inspired by. Inspired by Tumblr girls. Right, okay. So now I actually get into it. Number 1, I always start with a circle. The circle for the head. Basically what I've drawn in ballpoint, the thin line pen, in my on the side, on the right example, is basically what I think of like rigid lines on the body, like lines that have to be there, that specific shape. You know what I mean? So the head is a circle because of the skull, like that's what that represents. And then I've got this little rectangular shape, and this can change, but it's always a rectangle, at least to start out with. And then like a trapezium kind of shape for the hip. So, like, I think of it like the bone structure. So obviously your ribs are always kind of the same shape. So if you're always drawing that torso part the same way, I don't know, I'm really bad at explaining this. It makes sense to me. And then sometimes I use a circle to represent the hips. It depends like where I'm, like how I'm posing the character. Sometimes it's easier to do a circle, and that makes sense because there's like fat there. And then in this squishy line, I've made a state of it, but that's basically like you can kind of get away with like wobbly kind of softer lines for arms and legs, because I find that it's really easy to get caught up on legs. That if you're doing your initial sketch, just do what I've done here. Have like that general shape of where you want the legs to land and where you want the arms to be. Sometimes I draw just at the hand as a circle and then I join up the rest of the arm. And then maybe take a step back and see if the anatomy looks right, and then maybe it's right. Basically, this isn't even in steps, I'm so bad at this. Basically, and I'll talk about this in a minute, the more you draw and the more you look at bodies, the more you get it. Teaching someone how to draw is like the hardest thing because it's so down to the individual. But yeah, so that's bodies, and I'll quickly go through how I do my basic structure for a face. For the face, I just start with a circle as usual. Then I do my cross lines, my guidelines, just so I know where like the middle of the face is, so I can try and make it symmetrical. It is rarely symmetrical, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really bad with that. Then I usually visualize it in my head, but the rule usually is you can fit an eye in between your eyes, basically. And then this is not very helpful advice, I just eyeball the nose and mouth because I think people's faces are so different. Some people's faces are so long and some people's faces are short that it's hard to come up with a rule for where to put the nose and mouth. And it's also, based on your style. I usually have like quite small chins, I think. Anyways, and then ears you can also kind of eyeball, but the top of the ear usually starts where the half line is, I think, anyway. Anyways, that's basically the basics of it. Let me know if that was useful at all. Yeah, I think it's one of the hardest things to teach someone how to draw, because like the way I learned to draw was very slow, and I don't know if this is the same for anyone else. And I know there are like fast track ways of learning. You can take like classes, but if you're not interested in drawing for improvement all the time, like don't think of it like this way, and don't feel bad for thinking it this way. I think the way that we learn to draw is similar to the way you learn your first language as a baby. And so basically we learn the basic blocks first. In language, it's words. In drawing, shapes, And then we learn how to put these together in a way that makes sense. And we do this unconsciously, and eventually it just clicks in our heads. But you can also like get help from a parent, or for art, a teacher or an online tutorial. And it's scaffolding theory, where they basically teach us maybe like why something works, or that something just works this way, and then just suddenly it helps us click faster, and it helps us move on to like the next level. So yeah, this is my linguistics background coming into play here. But yeah, I think it's quite interesting because it's so cognitive, I think, drawing. Because we can see in real life, that objects are shaped a certain way, but then why can't we just put it straight onto paper as a drawing? You see what I mean? Why is it such a struggle? And then there's the sense of creativity as well, that we can create something unique from our heads. I don't know, it's just really interesting. And don't even get me started on like caricatures and really simple like artwork. I can't think of an example, but I'm so interested in the way that we can draw like a couple of lines, and we can immediately know it's a face, or we can immediately know what it's supposed to represent. And how do our brains do that? I don't know, but it's pretty cool. And these are the wonders of philosophy, language, and art. It's great. Anyways, I just went off on a tangent. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed my thoughts and this video. As usual, all of my links are in the description, including my Ko-Fi page and my Redbubble shop. If you like the video, you should like the video. And if you like me, maybe you should subscribe. I post every Thursday, and I make daily reels and shorts. So follow me on Instagram to see what I'm up to. I hope you got something out of this video. These Tumblr girls, they're not like the best example, but they're just girls, like how I draw girls just naturally. And this is just like what I enjoy to draw in my free time. So yeah, that's that. Find some time to draw today. Bye.